Bonjour, this is Easy France. 3 things we're going to talk about today. How you can train yourself as a French teacher, the free resources you can take advantage of, the trainings available here in France and online, and thirdly, we're going to talk about how you can monetize your French language skills, how you can make a side income from. I guess you already know that today's video is dedicated to French teachers because I was a French teacher before I ever came to France to continue my studies. So if you're from Nigeria, from Kenya, Cameroon, Ghana, Anglophone, anywhere in the Anglophone world, and you are teaching French in an Anglophone environment, this video is for you because I know what it is to genuinely love the language. You're passionate about it, you want to develop and, upgrade your skills regularly. You want community, but you just don't have it because of where you come from. You teach French in English because your students are Anglophone. You find yourself with other teachers who are teaching physics and chemistry, and French is treated like a nice to have, but when it comes to budgets and for more time to teach, you're not given the same consideration as other subjects. So today's video is dedicated to French teacher because I know how lonely it can be for you, and the frustration, you begin to feel stuck. Like, why did I go all the way, spend years in the university studying this language if there's not really any perspective for it? So usually, not all the time anyway, the scenario is you're teaching French in English to Anglophone students, and it's quite lonely, number one. Number two, you don't really get as much consideration as other subjects. And unfortunately, because you are teaching in English, your French becomes rusty because you're not practicing with anyone. Your students can't converse with you in French because they have limited vocabulary. They're all beginners anyway. Let's talk about continuing education, continuing professional development. It's almost non-existent because French is not really a priority in a lot of institutions. I might be wrong, but maybe you're not given the kind of support you need. The materials, you have to source them and find them by yourself. And sometimes you might not get the latest available technology that you need to be able to teach the language effectively. So to be practical, what are we talking about today? What are the free trainings that a French teacher who is living in an Anglophone environment, what are the free trainings available that you can use to develop yourself? The first one I'm going to mention is IFprofs. It's IFprofs.org. And this is an organization for teachers of French. Over 91 communities represented all over the world. You do short courses and you're getting a certificate after each course. So you can do as many as you need to continue developing yourself. And at the end of the day, you get a certificate to show for it. It's online, completely online, and it helps you to exchange with other French teachers who are probably going through your same challenges. The resource that you can take advantage of is called funmooc.fr. That's funmooc.fr. It's a site and they offer certificate courses for teachers of French, and they're offered by actual universities in France. It's completely free, and once you have a certificate, you gain some kind of knowledge, you can put it in your CV, zero cost. That's another second thing you can take advantage of as a French teacher trying to brush up your skill. Now, a third resource that you can take advantage of is on RFI Savoirs, TV5 La Langue Française, and these two provide you with materials, teaching materials, content, and immersion. It's all there. You can take advantage of that and use it to enriching your teaching, while you can make use of everything that's available on the site. The tip is that it's built specifically for learners and also for teachers. So fourth resource you can take advantage of is the Campus France online events. I know it's online, but it exposes you to the wider Francophone world, and it also is not just for students. Actually, some people think Campus France online events just for students. No, they have events also that are for everyone, teachers and students. So you can not only network and meet other Francophone, other teachers teaching French, you can also be exposed to the wider Francophone community, and you never know what kind of collaborations can come from that. And a fifth resource that you can take advantage of, it's free. It's apps. They call Tandem and HelloTalk. What they do is that they connect you with French, native speakers, and this helps your French to remain sharp. You can practice 30 minutes a day or as many times in a week as you want with a native speaker who is also trying to learn English, so you can help each other, and that way you have a free resource that you can hop on from time to time, brush up your French. And so you can start with any of these free resources I've mentioned. At least if you start one this week and you start building a habit before you even spend any euro on any form of training. Another quick mention that I will say here is that because you're in an Anglophone environment, you have to really be intentional about keeping your French sharp and developing it. What I mean is that you can listen to YouTube or podcasts about France or the French channels on your commute to work every day. You can talk to a French native speaker on the apps like HelloTalk and Tandem. Equally, you can watch French films without subtitles from time to time. Leave yourself once a week or once every other week. Watch a French film without the subtitles, and then also you can follow French accounts on Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, it's fun, and it's also building your. So now let's go into something deeper. So if you want to go deeper into your training, coming into France. It's possible. Some people think that it's unrealistic or way too expensive to come to France for a training, but it's not necessarily so if you have the right information. For instance, there are short courses and programs, 1 week, 2 weeks. They're really intensive, and the point is to give some training, give some skills and everything, and then you come home with a certificate. So, for example, the short programs, they call it stage de professeur de français. I did one. The first one I did was when I was a teacher. I went to CAVILAM, I went to Vichy, and I found them by doing research. So 1 week was about 165. I think that was like 10 years ago. 165 euros. I had accommodation with a famille d'accueil. That's a family that welcomes international. So I was in their home. I had a room in their home. So the accommodation thing was really affordable. I had a breakfast and lunch with them. Then during the day, I would go to CAVILAM, the language center, and have programs throughout the week, teaching practices, digital tools that you can use. So that was really an immersive experience. I think it lasted for a week. Similarly to that, based on research, I checked into Alliance Francaise Montpellier, and they also offer short courses for teachers. A week, of course, would be about 300, and 2 weeks of program would be about 600 euros. You pay a registration fee. Accommodation is also about 140 euros for a week, and the minimum level is a B2 French. It's for French teachers. So it's something. All this information will be in my show notes. You can go and do more research on that. So usually the program is in the morning. You have pedagogy. You have digital training skills. You have teaching methods that are being taught to you, and then in the afternoon you have conferences. You have cultural visits, and you also have networking. So it's really intensive. So you can find similar programs in Alliance Francaise Bordeaux, and also you can find such programs at Ateliers FLE in Nice. Another paid option for training yourself as a French teacher is called BELC, and they're run by the France Education International. What they do is that they give you a certification as a DELF or a DALF examiner. The program is run online. The winter program is a couple of hours. You go for the program, it's completely online. The program and getting the certification at the end of the day gives you the status of a DELF examiner or a DALF examiner that is recognized anywhere in the world. Last but not the least is if you can't travel at all because and then you don't want to go through the visa hassles and things like that, DAEFLE is excellent for you. It's a long distance program run by the Alliance Francaise in Paris, but it runs for 11 months, and at the end of the day you have a recognized certification which is the same status as a master degree in Français langue étrangère. So you can check out the details and do your research, but it's recognized internationally for French teachers. It runs for 11 months. It costs about 1,500 euros. So you don't go through the hassle of having to come to France and applying for visas, accommodation, and whatnot, and time away from your family. So DAEFLE would be an excellent option if you're really keen on brushing up your skills in a way that will give you a certification that is recognized worldwide. So practically, if you're looking for a name you can trust and you want verified classroom techniques, I would advise you to CAVILAM. If you have a budget, you're trying to really manage your budget properly, I would advise you to do Alliance Francaise Montpellier. And if you want the most internationally recognized certification, I would recommend BELC. If you cannot travel at all, an option would be the DAEFLE, and you train for 11 months and get a really solid training. If you want to try something free first, go for all the resources I mentioned at the beginning. I'm going to share all of this in the show notes so you can go over it and see what is calling to you. The truth is, you have a skill that other people would pay to learn. You have the skill, no doubt about it. But a lot of people have been taught to think that the only way you can make an income from it is in a classroom. This is not true. You can make an income out of the classroom with your French skills. First way to make income from your skill is creating an online profile where you do French, what they call French tutoring. There are sites like Preply, there are sites like Super Prof, where you can create a profile and people that want to learn French will connect with you all over the world, and then you begin to teach. You organize classes online. Then we have corporate French teaching. That's a second way for you to make income. We have international companies that need their staff to have French language training. These corporate clients pay higher than classroom teaching. So that's another way for you to make income as a French teacher. The third way to make income with your French language skills is by content creation. You can just create based on the particular area that you want to focus on, which maybe it's DELF, passing DELF exams, or grammar or pronunciation or classroom practice. You can concentrate on one aspect of French language teaching and build content around that, and then you can get clients through your content creation, referrals. A lot can happen through creating content because it exposes you and it gives you visibility. A fourth way to make income from your French language skills is by selling digital products online. You can just create simple spreadsheets or prep prep sheets for exams so that French students can use them and they buy from you over and over again. In so much as there are French exams, people will always buy from you. So you create a digital product that helps people to practice their French before an exam. That's an example of one digital product. There are so many others you can think of. Finally, a really big tip is for you to specialize on one aspect of the French language. If you want to be for business French, specialize in that. If you want to be for DELF examinations, be for that. If you just want to be a tutor, specialize in that. Because when you are so general, you won't really make as much as someone who focuses on one aspect of French language teaching. You make more when you are a specialist in your area. So in conclusion, you already have the skill. You already have the passion for the language. That's the hardest part. Now you're working on building a brand with the skill that you have acquired. So everything I have mentioned today is going to be in the show notes. You can go into detail. Otherwise, I have a master plan which I have put the details of all this information that will help you make the next step. And of course, like I always say, if you really want to go deeper and go get a specialized one-on-one discussion, you can find the link in my bio, you book a call, and I'll be happy to help you out. So see you in the next video. Please like, please share, and subscribe if this video has been of any use to you and you think it might be useful to someone else. It really helps the channel when you like, subscribe, make comments, ask questions. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next. Au revoir.